Clark got a little get back at Kelsey Plum.
She was taking a shot,
could not help but to drag Caitlin Clark through the glass as she did it.
0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
The WNBA is on a hot streak. They're finally turning.
What occurred down just moments ago has sent shockwaves through the entire WNBA. And somewhere right now, Kelsey Plum is probably sick to her stomach because Caitlin Clark just destroyed her in the most cold-blooded, calculating way we've ever seen in women's basketball. I'm still struggling to put my brain around it because this wasn't just payback. It was a plan for how to completely outplay and expose someone who sought to smear your name. And make no mistake, Plum didn't simply lose. She got eliminated. Before we break down this absolute meltdown, hit that like button if you're riding with Caitlin all the way because once you hear what truly happened, there's no chance you'll still be backing Plum.
Losers and you have sore winner, and Kelsey Plum is both.
We want to blow them out. We're a lot better than them.
We're watching for the league. We're really watching for Caitlin Clark. Everyone's going to be making more because of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the one bringing in the numbers.
Well, there's one.
Let's rewind to where this whole thing really kicked off, because this wasn't some little random clash. This was rooted in jealousy, silent sabotage, and one player's attempt to dull the luster of the biggest star the WNBA has ever produced. It started at the WNBA All-Star Game, an event that should have Kelsey Plum destroyed on court been about camaraderie and celebrating women's basketball at its finest level. Instead, it turned into one of the most unpleasant, jealousy-fueled moments the sport has seen. At the time, players were rallying behind the Pay Us What You Owe Us movement, pushing the league for fairer compensation. And honestly, that bit is completely justified. These athletes deserve to be paid. But this is where Kelsey Plum revealed her hand and made what might end up being the worst premeditated move of her career. During a press conference, with cameras flashing and the entire basketball world tuned in, Plum chose to take a thinly disguised shot at Caitlin Clark, all while avoiding the nerve to speak her name openly.
But 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Or her actually making comments about Caitlin Clark's team not being at this meeting for the CBA.
She dropped this carefully worded remark alleging that none of the players on Team Clark were really involved. A clear job geared at the league's salary negotiations and player activism. The nerve of it was incredible. She focused in on the very player who's generated more publicity, income, and visibility for the WNBA than anyone in its 28-year existence, and tried to spin her as self-centered and disconnected from her colleagues. The action was so transparent, so purposeful, and frankly so idiotic that even folks who don't follow basketball could understand exactly what she was doing. What makes it even more aggravating is the actuality of the situation. Clark wasn't even at the All-Star game. She was at home recovering and addressing her own circumstances. She had zero responsibility to come up for performative performances only to ensure she fans erupt over Clark's dominance, supports player activism.
shot at Caitlin Clark during that whole thing about Team Clark wasn't very present for that.
To me, I thought that was a little dig at Caitlin. A lot of people definitely thought so.
Plum, she was taking a shot at Caitlin Clark's situation involving the pay us what you owe.
She's very literally altered the entire women's basketball ecosystem, pulling in millions of new fans, elevating the sport's prominence, and playing a big role in making the WNBA financially sustainable in a way it's never been before. And yet, Plum still had the audacity to doubt her dedication. The disrespect was off the charts, but what followed was even more rewarding. The backlash was swift and savage. Just look at Sabrina Ionescu's reaction during that press conference. The discomfort was evident all over her face as the truth hit about what Plum had just set in motion. Even analyst Stacey King didn't sugarcoat it, pointing out how risky it is to take shots at the league's golden ticket. And he wasn't wrong. The data tells the story. Since Caitlin Clark debuted, TV ratings have risen. Merch is flying off shelves. Ticket prices are climbing fast. And expansion fees have skyrocketed from $50 million to $250 million virtually overnight. She's the league's biggest bargaining chip in salary talks, yet Plum opted to publicly go after the WNBA's most valuable asset. But this is where Caitlin Clark showed she's more than simply a lead on the court.
But to say that Caitlin Clark didn't join in on the T-shirt discussion.
This week they wore T-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark. Here she is.
The T-shirt, just United Front was determined this morning that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
She's a calculating tactician operating on a level most people can't even see, playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers. Instead of clapping back with a sloppy press comment or diving into a social media battle, Clark made the ultimate power play. She said nothing. She let stillness work for her. She kept winning headlines without even stepping on the court and waited patiently for the precise, correct opportunity to answer. And when that moment arrived, it hit like a wrecking ball. Not shortly after the controversy, Clark disclosed a massive global agreement with Nike, once again proving that huge corporations are lining up and competing only to be attached to her name. While Plum was focused on tearing her down, Clark was busy establishing her empire. But the killing blow came when Clark observed Plum posting images from a Nike event. Despite Plum having signed with Under Armour, Nike's direct rival, that's when Clark unleashed the most perfectly timed, razor-sharp comment that sent the internet into a frenzy. Thanks for the Nike ad. Brands are lining up with open checkbooks, and she's taking in well over 7 figures through endorsements alone. While some longtime participants are still struggling to be noticed, the corporate world understands what many naysayers refuse to concede. Clark isn't just the future, she's the present, and she's the driving force behind why this sport is now earning the recognition and financial backing it's long earned. Since that Instagram comment, Kelsey Plum has gone completely quiet, likely understanding she challenged someone who plays on an entirely different plane. The same player who tried to depict Clark as selfish and disengaged ended up getting outclassed by someone who understood that real influence doesn't need noise. It simply exists and lets outcomes do the talking. Clark's reach is so huge that even a subtle social media remark becomes headline news while Plum's attempts to stay current barely register. But this story is broader than a personal clash between two athletes. What we're seeing is a bigger effort by select WNBA veterans to contain and regulate Caitlin Clark's fast ascension, and it's failing in a dramatic way. Before Clark arrived, the league was battling low viewership, sparse media coverage, and expansion costs that pale in comparison. Social media explodes with reactions to today's stats. Games were often played in half-empty arenas with little national buzz to speak of. Before Clark arrived, the WNBA battled with low sales, empty stadia, and zero profitability. Then everything shifted. Ratings increased. Jerseys flew off shelves. Ticket prices rose. Media deals increased and expansion fees skyrocketed. Nearly every positive change in the league ties back to her impact. Yet, instead of welcoming that growth, some veterans respond with thinly veiled jealousy and opposition. What they fail to realize is simple. Clark's success lifts everyone. Bigger viewership implies bigger salary, better resources, and actual influence for the league. She's the catalyst they've been fighting for. And through it all, Clark has proved why she's more than a great player. She's a leader who understands power, timing, and the long game. She doesn't chase drama. She converts criticism into momentum. Fans see it. The numbers prove it. And history is unfolding in real time.